Hello everyone, and welcome to Alternative Design's presentation of why you, that's you, should be talking about market-linked CDs. I'm Tim Harding. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for Alternative Design, and as always, I'd like to thank you for taking some of your valuable time and spending it with me today. If you have questions on any topic at all, whether it's something covered in the webinar or just a question that's been in the back of your mind, please feel free to go ahead and type that into the chat box on your control panel at any time. I will, as always, answer all the questions at the end of the presentation, and I always look forward to that part. So any questions at all, please feel free to go ahead and type those in. I will address as many of them as I possibly can. Today, I'm not going to be talking about product. We spend a whole lot of time talking about the features and benefits of market-linked CDs, essentially how the market-linked CD can benefit consumers, our clients. But today, I want to talk more about how integrating market-linked CDs into your daily practice can actually have significant benefits for you. So I'm just going to spend a little while today running down how offering market-linked CDs on a daily basis is going to benefit your practice on an ongoing basis. You really should want to add the CD conversation to most of your meetings. It comes up from time to time, but typically it's in an adversarial situation because for most people who have money sitting in CDs, when that becomes revealed, the advisor sitting across the table from them is bound and determined to move that money out of the CDs. And you've got a really unique opportunity here with the market-linked CDs to tear down that wall, stop the tug-of-war, and help the client find a better spot in a bank that's still FDIC insured for that CD money. It's much easier to make a lateral move than it is to move from one sector to another. And boy, I've been in this business a long time, and it's been preached to me over and over again that, hey, go after those people that have money in CDs and move it into annuities. And it's just like pulling teeth. Because for a lot of folks, that CD money is going to stay CD money no matter what, no matter how persuasive we are, no matter how strong our arguments are. There's something deep inside them psychologically that says, I'm not moving that money. And when you bring up CDs and start trying to move it, it's that old tug-of-war, and they start bracing themselves for battle. In fact, they even dig their heels in. But you do want to be talking about market-linked CDs because people who have money in CDs, people who want to talk to you about CDs, by definition, have investable dollars. Now, you may not be able to move that CD money into some of your other product lines, but you do have an opportunity to have a conversation with them about a better CD than they've seen before. It's a way to capture some of their assets, make them a client, and once you've made them a client, you have the opportunity to move into other product lines as you build that relationship and you build that trust. A lot of times they don't even tell you about CD money. I hear story after story of clients that agents thought they knew backwards and forwards, and when they casually brought up the topic of market-linked CDs, they discovered money that the client forgot to tell them about or just inherited and forgot to mention. You're probably walking past opportunities all the time. Whether you know it or not, you've probably been leaving money on the table. And by integrating the market-linked CD conversation into what you do on a daily basis, into most appointments where it's appropriate, you're going to pick up sales that you probably didn't even know were there. And once you make somebody a client, then of course you have the opportunity to present your other solutions to them, your fixed indexed annuities, your single premium whole life. You have the opportunity to expand and capture more and more of their assets. But the best door opener of all, the easiest way to get in there and get in front of qualified buying units is to begin that conversation about market-linked certificates of deposit. So it benefits you by opening doors, but also by giving you the opportunity to cross-sell into other product lines. Market-linked CDs mature. You know, I hear from time to time an agent complain when interest is paid and it goes into the money market account at Provident Trust, and it's sitting there waiting for the client to move the money. And I've had agents complain that I just don't get paid enough on a market-linked CD to see them every year to help them decide what to do with that relatively small amount of money. I've already moved the big lump sum. I don't want to be bothered anymore. But folks, you know and I know this is a relationship business. Market-linked CDs, because they do pay interest on an annual basis and because they do mature, which means you have an opportunity to invest that money again down the road, give you the opportunity to build that valuable relationship over time. You know, lives change. If money's inherited, real estate is sold, you know, lump sums of cash become available. You know, the market-linked CD, you know, to some appears to be more effort than it's worth. But to others who are sharp and perceptive, it's a great way to build and maintain a relationship with your client base. And, you know, 7 years from now when that CD matures and that lump sum becomes available again, it might be the right time for that annuity and, of course, a higher payday. So never forget that CDs are a relationship builder, a way to establish your trust with your clients and pick up additional assets over time. Market-linked CDs can benefit you substantially by giving you access to new markets. I've talked about this over and over in the past. There are markets that you don't even know exist because you never had an appropriate product for them. You know, I use as an example all the time homeowners associations, many of which sit on very substantial long-term reserves, money that they're not going to touch for 7, 8, 10, 12 years, but that they have to set aside to prepare for replacing a roof or some kind of maintenance. Folks, very often the bylaws are extremely restrictive on what they can do with those assets. In many cases, it's restricted to only FDIC-insured accounts. They're not going to talk to you about annuities or assets under management or, you know, the latest, greatest mutual fund that you have to offer because it's not relevant to them. But if you could show them a way to get a higher return on their long-term reserves in an FDIC-insured account with a market-linked CD, you're in front of the board of directors of a homeowners association sitting on piles of money. But not only is the association sitting on piles of money, think of who you're in front of. You're in front of the centers of influence in that community. They were elected. They know everybody. They're wonderful, wonderful sources of referrals. It's a great opportunity here. That's only one example of a new market that you probably hadn't thought of before. There are many others like nonprofit organizations, restricted funds, structured settlements, all kinds of opportunities here that you don't have with your other product lines. So it will benefit you greatly to integrate market-linked CDs into your daily practice because it's going to help you recognize and access those new opportunities, those new markets that you hadn't been in before. Of course, you know, we all know that there are situations when an annuity simply isn't going to work. And it doesn't matter how professional we are or how polished or what great salespeople we are. For one reason or another, an annuity just isn't going to work in certain circumstances. It might be a suitability issue. Suitabilities become stickier and stickier as we go on. And, you know, you can't put all of a client's assets into an annuity. So why not pick up the other assets with a market-linked CD? Because an annuity just won't work in some circumstances because of age or because of suitability. And then there's always those people who, for whatever reason, are absolutely insistent upon FDIC insurance. And in the past, if we couldn't talk them out of that position, we may have had to walk away from the sale. You no longer have to do that. Now if somebody has money that they insist be in an FDIC insured account, you have the alternative for them. You have a way to pick up some of that money instead of walking away empty-handed. Now, you know, I've identified maybe half a dozen different situations where an annuity just isn't going to work. You're not going to make an annuity sale there no matter what. And I've written a nice little white paper on those circumstances and how you can respond to them. It's available through your business consultants. All you need to do is give your business consultant a call and tell them that you'd like to get a copy of the white paper on when an annuity won't work, and they'll be happy to provide you with that. But there's about half a dozen times when you're banging your head against a brick wall and you're just not going anywhere if the only tool in your toolbox happens to be an annuity. So you might want to take a look at this. And in the past we've been conditioned to see those circumstances and just walk away from them. The white paper addresses why you don't have to walk away from them empty-handed, and what your alternatives are, and how you can pick up some of those assets when an annuity just won't work. One of the biggest reasons I think you should strongly consider integrating market-linked CDs into your daily practice and talking about them on an ongoing basis is it's going to differentiate you from the rest of the crowd. It's going to set you apart. I got to tell you, people on the security side of the industry are rarely talking about certificates of deposit. People in the insurance industry are rarely, if ever, talking about bank deposits. This is a way to set yourself apart, stand out in the crowd by offering consumers something that they're interested in, as opposed to trying to sell them something that they don't know whether they want or not. So this is a key point of differentiation. You get to talk about an FDIC-insured, principal-protected, and guaranteed product that nobody else is talking to them about. Now, I've made this point several times over the past year that of the investable dollars in the United States, the securities sector of the economy controls about $8.7 trillion of it. The insurance industry only controls about $4.8 trillion, while the banking industry, the banking sector, controls over $13 trillion, 13 trillion of the investable dollars in the United States right now. That's a huge, huge pond to be fishing in, and if you're not actively looking for those dollars so that you can make a lateral move from a low-paying traditional CD or money market account to the sizzle and the potential upside of a market-linked CD, you really are leaving money on the table. And so why not fish in more than one of these ponds? The investable dollars are not even spread evenly. So the biggest pond right now with the most fish is in the banking sector, and you have the perfect product to approach them with now after having endured all these years of historically low interest rates. Another reason that you really should integrate market-linked CDs into your daily practice is because it's easy. It's just easy to do. We have a system we call our 2x4 system. You know what a 2x4 is? The basic building block of a home, and we like to say that the 2x4 is also the basic building block of a successful financial services practice. And all it really refers to is, asking two people a day 4 simple questions. And, for those of you who've been around a while, we used to pound on the 4 questions over and over and over again. And, we haven't brought it up in some time. I know certainly I haven't on a webinar, but it's such a simple thing to do, easy to do, that you forget about it. The other thing is it works. So why not do it if it's so simple? The 4 questions are simply these. When you're in front of a client or a prospect for whatever purpose at the appropriate time, casually ask, do you have any money in CDs? They'll say yes or no, or I used to. Second question is, what do you like best about them? And of course what they're going to say is, well, I like that they're FDIC insured. I like that the principal's guaranteed. I can't lose any money. No disagreement there. Third question is, what do you like least about them? Well, you know what the answer is going to be right now. Interest rates are lousy. I almost have to pay the bank to take my money. So the fourth question is the clincher. And so, Mrs. Johnson, if I could show you an FDIC-insured certificate of deposit that has the potential for a much more reasonable rate of return, would you be interested? Of course she would. stop right there and make the appointment to talk about market-linked CDs. Folks, I hear stories all the time from agents who have used these 4 questions in all sorts of places, turning up sales or getting appointments that they never thought they would get. People in a casual conversation after church on Sunday morning, in the line at a grocery store. Folks, it's so easy and simple to toss these 4 questions in whenever you have the opportunity. You'd be amazed at how many sales you will turn up and how many appointments you will acquire simply because you have the ability to talk about an FDIC-insured alternative. So the 4 questions make it easy. But in addition to the 4 questions, we have at our disposal some pretty darn good marketing devices. I've talked about the Entree marketing system a number of times before, so I'm not going to talk about it today, but it's a great way to start the conversation because it really presents you, the agent, as the expert on certificates of deposit. And it gets you in front of centers of influence and other trusted advisors like CPAs. And there's a cost for this particular system because it comes from a third-party vendor. But if you give me a call and get it through me, I can get it for half price. The price for it is normally $250. It's a one-time fee with unlimited use. I can get it for half that. I can get it for $125. So if you have interest in finding out more about the Entree system, I'm not going to talk about it today, so just give me a call. My number is up on the screen. That's my direct line, 858-240-2059. That's 858-240-2059. And I'll be happy to walk you through the system and see if it's something that you might want to integrate into your practice. You can also send me a quick email at tim.harding@adisusa.net. So if you have any interest in that system at all, please don't hesitate to call or email me. And then one of the best benefits for you right now with the new generation of products that we have on our platform right now is, I firmly believe it really allows you to compete with mutual funds. I mean, think about it. You've got links to stocks and to high-yield bonds and to commodities, and you've got the Momentum Builder multi-asset linked product. All principal protected and guaranteed, no risk to principal, but with uncapped upside potential, and FDIC insurance. Folks, we're convinced here at Alternative Design that within the next 5 to 7 years, the bulk of the investing in the United States is going to move to structured products like market-linked certificates of deposit. And you're right at the cutting edge. You're right at the cutting edge, but we strongly believe that 5 to 7 years from now, this is going to be the norm. So now's your opportunity to capture that big market share because the push hasn't come yet, but it is coming. And last but not least, the way that market-linked CDs will benefit your practice is it'll make you money. For all the reasons that I've gone through in today's webinar, it will put you in a more favorable position with clients and prospects. You'll pick up assets that you were leaving on the table. You'll open doors to new markets that you hadn't been able to access before, and you're going to be able to cross-sell into your other product lines. I hear it all the time. Tim, when I started offering market-linked CDs, my fixed indexed annuity sales went through the roof. The cross-selling thing is real. But you have to move the market-linked CD to the front of the conversation. You have to have the client or consumer or prospect engage you in that discussion, and opportunities will abound. And, I started in the insurance industry 25 some odd years ago, and FDIC was a 4-letter word at that time. Market-linked CDs can make it your new best friend for life. So if you haven't already started to figure out how to integrate market-linked CDs into what you're doing on a daily basis, we've got lots of great ideas for ways to do that without disturbing what's made you successful so far. All you need to do is just pick up that phone Give your business consultants a call. Spend some time talking about the nature of your practice and what opportunities you think you might have. They are absolutely wonderful at making suggestions as to how you can grow your practice, increase your revenues, and acquire more clients as well as assets. So with that, I will move on to questions. I see that several have been typed in already. And so if you give me just a moment to pull them up, I will address them as quickly as I can. Okay, first question is on FDIC insurance coverage. It says the FDIC insures $250,000 investments. What happens when a client wants to invest more than $250,000? Any ideas or leads? And, first thing I would do is say, good. That's a very good thing if they've got more than $250,000. Second thing I would say is it really isn't an issue, because the FDIC coverage is per account ownership category per bank. So first of all, we always have multiple banks available to us. So if someone had $1 million that they wanted in an FDIC insured account, one simple solution is to simply put $250,000 in each of 4 different banks. All $1 million would be covered because they were in different banking institutions. A more subtle way, but perhaps an easier way, and we do this all the time, is that it is per account ownership category. So, for example, a husband and wife in a joint account, each would be insured up to $250,000. In a separate account, the husband might have another separate account that his wife isn't on. That's insured for $250,000. Same with the wife. That's another $250,000. Now we're up to $1 million. Let's say the husband has an IRA. If he places that in a market-linked CD in the same bank, that's another $250,000. Same with the wife. Now we're up to $1.5 million, and we're still in only one bank. So there are lots of ways. Good question. Lots of ways to expand the coverage. Think of the $250,000 as merely the threshold. After $250,000, we have to make sure we take appropriate steps, but it is not difficult to insure for the FDIC insurance to cover more than $250,000. Don asks, what are some of the most effective ways to market or advertise for market-linked CDs? Well, I can tell you some negative things. First of all, newspaper ads about the market-linked CD have been dismal failures. I've never heard of one that worked effectively. On the other side of that, one of the things that the Entree marketing system offers is an ad for information, as opposed to advertising on a specific product, information on how to get higher returns on CDs. And that has been successful. Talking about market-linked CDs in a seminar setting very briefly has been shown to put more buying units in the office. Lots of different things you can do. Don, give your business consultant a call and educate him a little bit on the nature of your practice, and we've got some good ideas for you. Question as to whether this webinar is being recorded for replay, the answer is yes. I do attempt to record every Wednesday's webinar. Occasionally there is a technical glitch and we have faulty sound or some such thing happen. But I do record them every week. Generally they're posted on our website usually the following Thursday. So if not by Thursday, certainly by the end of the week on Friday. If for some reason it's not posted, it's typically because something corrupted the file that we recorded on and we weren't able to post it. But yeah, all of these are available to you. And of course you can go into our library of webinars on demand, and there are many recorded sessions in there. So if you see a title that piques your interest, please go ahead and play those. That's why we leave them up on the website behind the agent portal. Pat asks me to please repeat question number 4. Pat, all of these are available on our website behind the agent portal. You can get them in written form. The final question is, Mrs. Johnson, if I could show you an FDIC-insured certificate of deposit that had the potential for a much more reasonable rate of return, would you be interested? And of course the answer the vast majority of the time is yes. Michael asks a question on interest. He says, do they pay monthly interest? And Michael, I wish I could find one that did. Unfortunately, the answer is no. Virtually all of our CDs pay only annually. Some of them pay on a point-to-point basis at maturity, but most of them pay annual interest, not monthly interest. I do get asked for that a lot. It would be a nice feature. Unfortunately, the mechanics don't work in a way that would be conducive to paying monthly interest. And if you'd like an elaboration on that, I'll be happy to talk with you offline. Michael asks, do you have access to 5-year CDs, and if so, what are the commissions? General answer to your question, Michael, is yes, we usually have access to 5-year market-linked CDs, and in regards to the commissions, they are nominal if non-existent, which is one of the reasons we don't feature them. There's just not enough in there to make your efforts worthwhile. But if push comes to shove, we usually can find a 5-year offering. It's just not going to have very much compensation built into it. Albert has a question. How long does it take for a client to receive their interest at the end of the yearly term? How do they direct it to be reinvested if they want to? Good question. I believe that interest is credited on the calculation date, paid 3 days later. Calculation date would be the same as anniversary date. The anniversary of the trade date. It's not credited but paid 3 days later. Because this doesn't work like an annuity, the interest is actually paid in cash. So usually within a week, the client will be notified by Provident Trust that interest has been paid and is sitting in their account. If the client wants to purchase additional new CDs in $1,000 increments with that cash, they can. All they need to do is fill out a direction of investment form. It's one of the pages in the original application. That instructs Provident Trust what to do with that money, and they simply instruct them to purchase new CDs. Once the account is open, new CDs can be purchased in $1,000 increments. So if they want it sent to them in cash, that will be done by Provident as well. But it sits there until Provident receives instruction from the clients. Question on what's the highest minimum guarantee I've seen for a 5-year? Michael, I seldom look at the 5 years, and so I can't answer your question now. I'll see if I can do a little research, but I don't have an answer for that one. Okay, how long do the commissions take to receive, and do you mail the client the CD or do we deliver it to them? Commissions are paid on or about the 20th of the month following the purchase of the CD, and market-linked CDs are issued in book entry form, Michael, which means there is no physical certificate of deposit. That's the reason that we use Provident Trust as the custodian, because market-linked CDs, like securities and today mutual funds, are held electronically. So there has to be a custodian with the capacity to hold electronic evidence of the CD for the benefit of the client. So the CD is delivered electronically to the client's account at Provident Trust. Provident Trust confirms the delivery of the CD to the trust account and the amount when that happens. Question again related to Provident. Is there any charge to maintain the Provident account when the CDs are funded by an IRA rollover? Either way, there is a fee from Provident. There is no charge for the first year, but subsequent years the Provident Trust charges $50 for the account, which is quite reasonable for a custodial account. In fact, it's more than reasonable. It's downright inexpensive. But that is paid out of interest. It never attaches to the client's principal. Albert asks, what's the interest rate they receive if they leave the funds in Provident Trust? Albert, it would be low current money market rates. No real advantage to leaving the money market, or leaving the interest payments in the money market account there. I'm sure that higher returns could be found somewhere else. Question on marketing, do you have any postcard pieces that we could email and send to clients? The answer is no, we don't, but I can certainly help with that. I have in the past. We're not a marketing company. We're a product distributor, and so we try to stay out of the marketing end as much as we can and still give you still give you good ideas as to what you can do. So Michael, we can help you put the content on a postcard. I've done that in the past, and they've been reasonably effective. They're also very effective with the entree marketing system, and there's some good stuff there. So with that, oh, one more question. Scott asks, is it okay to set up a website or landing page just for CDs? Scott, the answer is yes, in general terms, as long as it meets certain parameters, and we'll be happy to discuss those with you offline. There are some limitations as to what you can put out there for public display. For example, if you're not a member, you cannot use the FDIC logo. Fines start at a rather significant $10,000 if you do that. So there are some other guidelines as well that you have to follow, but yeah, you can do that, and I know agents have done that in the past, and we have experimented with that a little bit as well. So your business consultant can help you, or I can help you come up with content for a card. Good question. Michael asks, can you mention FDIC without the logo? The answer is yes, you can. Just make sure it doesn't look like it's trying to imitate the logo, because that's a no-no. But you can mention FDIC. You can use it in conversation. You can use it in print. You just can't use the logo if you're not a member. So with that, folks, I think we're at that time. So once again, thank you for joining me today. Look forward to seeing you next week, same time, same place, Wednesday, 11:35 Pacific time. We'll look forward to talking with you then. In the meantime, have a great week.